Joe, what is it important for you to have people remember about Phil and his time here with you guys?
He did a lot of good things for us. 2009, he was an outstanding eighth-inning guy for us. The next year, he wins 18 games. He wins 16 games for us in another year. And when I think of Hughesy, I think is a good kid that was a great teammate and did some good things for us.
As far as Teixeira goes, with the cortisone now, is it just a matter of waiting to see when it sets in?
Yeah, well, I mean, you're hoping that it's a couple days and he's able to get back out there. But, I mean, it's just kind of you're in a wait and see probably for today and tomorrow and see where you're at Tuesday when he comes in.
How do you determine how long you keep Pineda shut down for?
Well, that's a doctor's call. I think the last time we shut him down 10 days before he picked up a baseball, and I'm sure it'll be 10 days here, maybe even a little more depending on, what they feel. So it's a doctor's call. It's not what we want. He's very similar to what he had, I don't know, it must have been about 6 weeks ago. It's unfortunate, but we'll try to get him going again.
Joe, and Tex, obviously, he can't play shorthanded forever. Are you saying that by Tuesday you'll make a call on whether he goes on a DL or not? No, I'm
not saying that. I'm Tuesday we're facing a lefty too, and obviously this is, we felt that it bothers him. It's bothered him more right-handed than facing a right-hander more than a left-hander. So we'll see where we're at Tuesday.
Were you surprised that he was having that much problem? Because the other day you didn't think it was that big.
Well, I thought it was cleared up. I thought that he kind of cleared it up. Inflammation's a funny thing. It can be on one swing. It can be the culmination of a number of swings. The doctor was pretty reassuring that, they don't think it's serious, but inflammation can be a pain in the rear or the wrist.
Will you use anybody else at first other than
I know it's a day-to-day thing. See where we're at.
I know what you said last time when McCann played there, but is he a candidate to possibly play there again?
Well, I have a number of guys that are candidates. It's just a matter of, if I decide I want to put there. But, as I've said all along, I think Kelly's capable of handling it.
Joe, question from Minneapolis here. Sorry if you've been asked this before, but how impressive is it that Derek's been able to play an entire career at shortstop and not have to move to another position later on?
Extremely impressive. It's one thing if you retire at 32 and you played, your whole career at shortstop. But he's going to be 40 this year, and it's been extremely impressive what he's done. And it's through a lot of hard work and determination. And, for the most part, he's been able to stay really, really healthy at that spot, too. I know he went through the ankle thing, but it's been really impressive.
Well, what does it say about him being able to leave on his own terms instead of having an injury like last year in his career, or having someone tell him that he's not good enough to play anymore?
Well, I think that, being able to leave on your own terms and being able to announce it in February opposed to waiting to see what the year happens is not a lot of guys get to do that. I know a lot of guys will play a season and say, you know what, that's it. Just because maybe they didn't have the season they wanted and they felt that they were at the end of the career. But to be able to do it his way is pretty special.
Last one, and we get back to a regular programming here. But what's it been like to see you guys go on the road and teams honor him and make donations to his foundation and things like that?
It's been really fun to watch, and I think that the response he's gotten from opposing fans has been amazing. It's not, very seldom do you ever see guys go into other parks and get standing ovations. And he's had it a number of times this year, and I think people have really shown their appreciation, what he's done to the game, what he's meant to the game, and the way he's represented the game.
Joe, I think you guys are 14-5 in day games this year, and you have the best record in the majors.
Let's all day games.
Yeah, well, and I think you have the best record in the majors over the past 4 years during the day. Any theories why that might be?
No, I really don't know why. We've been a pretty good team, but it's sometimes you have a hard time making or putting a reason behind statistics.
All right, Joe. You've talked a lot about what it was like for you when you first came here as a player. What do you make of McCann's first 2 months?
I think that he's fit in really well. I think he's handled the situation really well. I wasn't a guy that signed a big contract coming over here, but I think he's handled it really well. I think he's been able to put the days behind him and just move on to the next day. And I think when you look at his numbers, I think he's hit the ball a lot harder than his numbers indicate, and that can be extremely frustrating for a player. But I think he's handled that pretty well.
Joe, when we talked to Mark yesterday, he said hopefully the shot works. If it doesn't work, he said he'd be worried, and then you go back to the drawing board. What would that exactly mean? If
the drawing board?
If the rest doesn't work, the shot doesn't work.
I think you're probably looking at more than a couple day or 3 days rest. I mean, there's from a standpoint, the sheath is repaired, so I mean, there's not like you go in there and do something. It would just be more rest.
Can I pose a theory about the day game?
You pose anything you want. It's a free country.
Not just this year, but also in those past 4 years, the team's been kind of dominated by veteran, sort of responsible veteran guys like Mo and Andy, Derek. That maybe that, the
old guys get up easier earlier.
They don't. Maybe like other teams are going out later and not preparing themselves as much for day games as you guys do.
I know for me, as I got older, day games were easier in a sense. And I think sometimes when you have children, day games are easier as well, just because your kids are getting you up, for the most part. So sometimes it can be easier. And I think your body adjusts to it better. A lot of these young guys, they can sleep till 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. As you get older, that's hard to do.